Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Tuesday afternoon, June 8th. We are looking at Window Traders' market profile of SPY, IWM, and QQQs. And another interesting day. I'm telling you, we've had no volume whatsoever in this market, but the moves have been incredibly interesting. Financially had a good day today, but I feel dirty, to say the least, how I traded today. Not thrilled. I took some pretty large positions. Not happy about the way I went about things. I'm looking at the profile now. I know why I did them, and I got fortunate, but still not thrilled. But sometimes lucky could be better than good at times. Let's start with the triple Qs. As far as what happened today, they gapped higher, filled the gap in C period, actually attempted to go trend down a bunch of times, never got it. They end with overlapping to higher value. Only 8 wide, though. It's sort of a B shape, but an ugly one at that. But again, they made some good progress as they continue to attempt to get to the 340 level. Russell gapped higher, filled it in A period. Attempted to go trend up in B, failed. D absolutely flushed out. All of us flushed out, as you can see in D. Took out both sides of the IB. So they have trouble taking out the IB a lot. Well, they took out both sides of it within 4 time frames, C and D. But that was the end of it. Started grinding higher and actually go out. Well, I just realized M filled K single prints. They had 3 sets, L, K, and J. They only end up with 1. But they do go out with a double distribution day from I's high to the day's low, K's low to the day's high. And more importantly, they're way above the 228.10 level and above the 231 level. So the next destination on the longer time frame for Russell is the all-time high. And don't forget, they also have an overnight all-time high. Now, SPY and ES. So let's make this a little smaller. We had an inside day yesterday. Couple of things. Let's not forget, we have an outside week up. So far, it's done nothing. Nothing. In fact, we're below where it closed last week. So remember, a month ago, we had one and failed miserably. It was down a lot at one point. At least we haven't gotten really ripped lower, but it has not done anything to the upside. We opened on a gap today out of an inside day up, and that held for exactly less than 1 time frame. But I did take a long. I took some large plays today between A and B period, most of it at the lows, because I took the bigger chunk when we got to the POC, which I thought they wanted to do. I got long 300 calls of the 422 calls today. And it worked. I was out money a little bit when it started because I started it right before the gap filled. Again, not big at all above the gap. I added above M. I added around value high. The bulk of what I took, though, was right when B took out A and got nothing below the POC, and then traded up, and I made money on it. We were 1 time framing down, but we still had overlap into higher value. Then in C, I took a short, the 424s against B's high because we were 1 time framing down. That paid off. Then D period put me in trouble. I wasn't surprised we took out B and C, but the fact that we were 4 wide already, and we weren't getting a lot when B went down. When we took out B's low, I'm not surprised we got the poor low or even the overnight low, but it ripped pretty hard. I started a call play. These were the 420 calls. I started them right around value low from yesterday and yesterday's low. Added at overnight low, but I took size at right around the day's low inside the gap. I was long 570 of the 420 calls. Was it a right play? Well, again, we were 1 time framing down. We were going to have single prints to start E period. Value at the time became unchanged. We were overlapping both sides. The thing that I was hanging on to, a couple of things. We still had the gap below from this day. Volume was not heavy. We never, even though, forget about what we did all afternoon. Before we got up here from F on, we never had a purple bar below B's low. So that told me it wasn't real strong. And to me, it was more shorts pushing. So when E opened and couldn't get anywhere near D's low, I started getting comfortable holding that position. And then once it started, and then I started taking them off, obviously, as we went up. And it turned out to be a nice trade. Was it a right trade? I mean, again, the more I look at it, I'm still not convinced I took the wrong trade. I mean, again, I wasn't really long size until the lows. I was getting hurt because these were getting hurt right away wherever I started. But I thought if we went and filled the gap at that point, yes, I would have been down a decent amount of money, but at least the size I took was closer to the gap fill. That's how I was looking at it, and we had unchanged values still. It worked out. And then I started, towards the end of E, I shorted against the one-time framing, 424s. I took short in F against value high at the time. So I started scalping shorts in E, F, G, A. I scalped shorts the rest of the day. Nothing big, but they paid. And then in K and L, I took I was short 50 in K. L popped up. I'm like, there's no volume, no tempo. I think we get at least one more pullback if M decides to go get the day's high. I added 150. So again, I was long 200 puts at L's high and made money when it came in. So 3 times today, I had positions of 300 calls, 570 calls, and 300 puts. A little too big for the range we had. The market it's so interesting. We had a chance for an outside day up, failed. Outside day down, failed. I'm sorry, not outside. Yeah, well, we did have a chance. Outside day up and outside day down, and we closed inside yesterday's range, so we have neither. We had an inside day up, failed. Inside day down, failed. So both sides were getting numerous opportunities to take control, and they just couldn't put it over the goal line, and we basically ended unchanged on the day. So I guess based on that, the size of the trades I took weren't that bad because we kept coming back inside of here, but still not thrilled about the whole thing. Anyway, I'll take it. We only have 2 upside destinations for left. That's today's high at 423.21, all-time high, and then today's pre-market all-time high, 423.38. For the downside, I'm using J's low as the afternoon pullback low. We only ended 8 wide. I don't use that. So J's low of 422.14 is the afternoon pullback low. Then we don't have anything to today's low of 420.32, and then fill in the gap at 419.99, 33-point gap. 419.16, 10 wide from the third, and you should have the rest down to last week's low. And then on the chart, so this is what I've been telling the room. So here's the weekly chart. Buyers need help. Buyers need reinforcements. I did a whole consultation yesterday on charting and balance. Balance rules are very subjective. I know a lot of people will be calling the weekly up. The reason I'm still calling the balance is because we can't take out and get acceptance above the previous all-time high from May 3rd. So until we get that, I will call it balance. Even though, yes, we went up 3 weeks ago, outside week up last week, and this week took out last week's high. But we've got nothing for it. So to me, it's still balance. At some point, these buyers need reinforcements to come in. Well, I thought we had them last week when we wiped out those 7 days and came back up here. But again, this last batch of buyers did nothing. I think they need the longer time frame. The volume is horrendous, 46 million. We haven't done 60 million on any of these moves up. So if we don't get reinforcements to get acceptance, I don't care if we keep making new highs. That's nothing to me. You want acceptance above the last all-time high and get distance away from it. If you do not get that at some point, we're going to roll. And the first stop will be last week's low, and then those 404, 405 levels. That's how I'm looking at it. And then on the daily, it's firmly a 3-day balance, but today is the whole range of it, right? Because today's high and low is the top of this 3-day balance. Again, they need to get above May 7th's high and get acceptance above it, which means close above it, which means get a trend day above it and hold. Things of that nature. Until you do, balance rules are still firmly in play. Hope you had a good day trading. Have a great night. Hope you had a lot less stressful day than I did. It's weird. I had a very good day P&L wise, but the mental capital got used up a lot throughout the day. Have a great night, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.